All right. Ladies, this is Alex from Mindful Attraction 2.0. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about something interesting that I noticed in yoga class. That was too funny. Okay, I'm not bitching the moon. This is not a video about me complaining and shit, right? It's not a bit about that. But it's an interesting observation. So, essentially, when I was going to the yoga class, first of all, I'm still not used to the ums. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was in the class today, and again, I don't mind this, but I'm just not used to it. They were doing like the hum, and I was like, okay, let me go with the hums and whatnot. I was going with it until it started changing rhythms, like changing tones. They were like, hum, nani, la, la. Okay, that's it. I'm like, you know what? That's it. I'm like, let me stay quiet. Let me not participate. Let me not fuck up the rhythm of the choir and whatnot. But, so when I was in class, it was like around 5 people, right? So I was the only guy. And, naturally I was like, oh, I'm the only guy here. I'm like, no, man, because I like having other guys around. Seriously, I do. I do like other people around. I don't like a homogenous kind of class. But I was like, whatever, I'll just deal with it. And the teacher just kept helping all the other women, right? And I was like, fuck this shit. I want to be helped, And the lady that was doing the yoga, she wasn't exactly helping them. But I'm not saying it in a bad way. But she was more like just giving them touches, like when they were doing their poses. She was like laying her hands on them in their back and the neck. And I was like, man, that looks good. I'm like, I want that too, man. Like, I don't know what that is, but I want that. I need that, And when I was in the class, I was like, she's not doing that to me. And I was like just bitching in my mind the whole time. And then then she came to me, and when she showed some attention, I was like, oh, okay, now this is good. You see? And it actually felt good, All she did was just put her hand right here, put her hand right here, put her hand right here. And I was like, oh, I like this. It was like one of those gentle touches. I wouldn't mind that as a whole class. Not in a perverse way, but, it's actually nice. So what I noticed is that I was bitching and moaning. And the reason why I was complaining is because I just didn't have attention. Oh, my God. How, like the child I am. But essentially, it's very similar to mindfulness with negative emotions. And that's when you have negative emotions, what they're really asking you to do is to pay attention to them. See what I'm saying? Like, sometimes wherever the pain is, whatever you're trying to avoid is what requires your attention the most. Now, some people may say, how do I give those things my attention? It's very simple, okay? And so I'm gonna teach you some way, because everyone says pay attention to your pain, but you don't know exactly what to do. Everyone says be one with the universe, but nobody really knows what that means. It's too abstract, at least to me. Some people are able to understand it. I can't. All right, let me fix it. Let me straighten this. I think it's a little bent. Is it? Whatever. So this is how it's done. The paying attention part comes because of this polar opposite, which is the suppression part. They're trying to hide of the emotion, trying to run away from the emotion, all right? So usually the suppression usually comes through using time, going into the future and going into the past through your thought. You see what I'm saying? So for example, you feel a negative emotion, so what do? You usually start drinking, or you start imagining of a better future in the hopes to overcome your problem. And so using time, which is created by your mind, is what people used to be happy, to distract themselves or be busy and whatnot. So this is how you do it. So you're using your mental projections to project your attention away from your physical sensation of the emotion you're trying to avoid. You see, so all you got to do then is literally feel the physical sensation. And if you cannot feel the physical sensation because of mental projections, you have identified with the mental projections in your mind, all you have to do then is to literally begin to write down your physical sensation. Literally, write them down. Like, literally write down, like for example, right now, what do I feel? I would sit down, get a piece of paper, and write down for 5 minutes, and write down my sensations. I would write down, okay, stiffness in my chest, all right? And then I will notice the stiffness is kind of warm, okay? And it's creating a residual contraction throughout my body. My shoulders feels kind of tense, particularly this shoulder. I'm not breathing as deeply as I could. These kind of thoughts are created as a result of this tension, and suddenly, what was a problem now is a physical sensation. Now you can deal with it because it's in the present moment. You see what I'm saying? Like, for example, I remember when I broke my jaw. The hardest part about breaking my jaw wasn't the pain. It wasn't the pain. It was my Lord in heaven. It was my desire to rip off my, because my mouth was shut for 2 months. I mean, for 1 month. It was my desire to take that away, like to remove them. So it was more of the mental torture. So the mental torture came because of my mental projection to the future. You know what I'm saying? So all I should have done was literally feel the sensation of that physical sensation of having my mouth shut. Because the reality, the real pain wasn't in the sensation. It wasn't in the sensation, but my desire to not have the sensation. That desire to not have the sensation could have been avoided if I just felt the sensation 100% as is. But because of my mental projections, it became more than just pain. I began to suffer. You see, pain is inevitable, but suffering is an option. I think somebody says that. I didn't come up with that. So that's one way to do it, right? Another way to do it is to ask yourself, am I trying to feel better right now? Again, remind you, it's all about bringing attention to whatever you're trying to avoid. That's all this is. Bringing attention to whatever quality, personality trait, emotion, circumstance, thoughts, emotion you're trying to avoid. And usually it's in the present moment. When you're feeling pain, it's because you're running away from something. So you got to bring your attention to that. You know, focus on the punk ass student that I was, bitching and moaning about not getting caressed once in a while. You know, like a little kid that I am sometimes, right? And so just bringing attention by asking yourself, am I trying to feel better right now? When you ask, am I trying to feel better? You go deep, straight into the emotion, straight into the resistance. You see, you become kind of like what Eckhart Tolle said, you become a flashlight through the fog, that you're able to see through it. And you ask yourself, am I trying to feel better right now? You look inside if you're trying to feel better. And once you notice you're trying to feel better, you ask yourself, what would happen if I stopped trying to feel better for just 10 seconds? And notice, as soon as you do that, even now, you relax. It's kind of like what I said earlier. If you're used to holding on to something very tightly, the mere act of letting go appears as though you're putting a lot more effort, but in reality, it means you're letting go, but it looks as though you're putting more effort because it's just so used to having your muscle contracted. So what happens when you let go, like what just happened right now, a wave of relaxation emanates. Now that wave of relaxation doesn't just correspond to the physical sensation of letting go and feeling physical relaxation, but also mental relaxation. You're able to let go. You're able to surrender. See what I'm saying? So that's why you ask yourself, am I trying to feel better right now? And you use that into a meditation. You know, you sit down and you ask yourself, am I trying to feel better every 5 minutes, every 1 minute, and you do it for like 10 minutes. You know, and that's a way to meditate. And like again, these are some ways to do it. That's what I like to do. I don't practice it often. Again, the only way I practice is when I fuck up. Not the best way to do it, but just shows you that, you know, like, you don't have to do it perfectly. Just try it out. Try it out yourself. Try it out first, man. Don't be a bitch. Try it out first. All right, and see what happens. I'm not saying a bitch like a misogynist. Nah, you know what I'm talking about. All right. So yeah. Anyway, this is Alex from mindfulattraction.org. If you guys want one-on-one coaching, just go to mindfulattraction.org. Coach in the pocket. And it's the morning here today. Everyone's going to work. I'm working now. But this is it for me today. And I hope you guys have a good day. And I'm scooting out. Nah, what's this? I'm back, man. All right, take care.